Let's get started. So for today, we are going to go through how to install Python packages using pip or Conda, and then we get into how to use Git a little bit. So it's very important because what we cover today essentially is similar to after you get a new computer. How do you download packages? How to install, right? You know how to go online, internet, you need download packages. But Python is very different. Usually we don't need to go online actually to download anything. Just a few commands and then you can get the things installed. So it's very important you know, where do I find the packages? How do I install them? And if you run into any issues, what should you be doing? Okay, so those are the key steps that you need to familiar. So if you have an iPhone or you have a Mac, right, you go to the App Store, you search, and then you click one button, download, just install, and then install. For Python, we need to use some command line. So again, we're going to use the Conda environment that we created last time. So just open Conda prompt or your terminal. Once you open this one, how do we get into the environment that we created last time? Remember?
env list.
Oh yeah, okay. You can type Conda env list, right? If you forget what the name that you chose, then you use Conda env list to show you all the environment that you created, right? So last time we created one called GOS. How do we get into the environment?
Activate.
Conda activate GEOS, right? As simple as that. And once you get into that, you will see the one here on the left side. So make sure you see this one. Don't mess up with the base environment. As I mentioned before, the base environment contains all the stuff. If you messed up, if it breaks, you might need to reinstall mini-conda or anaconda. So it's annoying. Sometimes it happens. Even for me. Sometimes I was doing things too fast. Forgot to activate and then install a bunch of packages and realize, oh, something is broken. Then you're going to spend some time those later. So make sure you want in here. And once you get into an environment, then you can start installing packages. So this is essentially right now, you are inside the room. You're trying to get some furniture into the room. And so you need to figure out, okay, where do you get furniture, right? Go to the supermarket or whatever they want. So for Python, there are two ways you can find the packages. If you go to the course website, resources, I put some stuff in here. So you can always go back. Again, you don't need to remember all of those, but it's better that you remember because you're going to use it very often. So the first one, where do you find packages? You go to the PyPI. So whatever you want to call it. This is basically all the software repository. As I showed you last time, it has over like 4 million releases. So basically there are a lot of releases. It doesn't mean like it has 4 million packages. So if it release a new version, it's called a new release. Okay, so just like ArcGIS Pro, right? 3.0, 3.1. Every time you get a new release, then you want to get a new release. And so this is where you search all kind of packages, just like software repository. It's not as good as like, let me see if I can open this one, see what it shows you. So here you can see some of the environments. I was hoping that you can offer something like App Store, like most popular packages for different categories. It doesn't actually do that. It's just everything in that there. So you have to know what you want. So it depends on the things you are doing. You can just simply type, for example, I can just type Geospatial, see what comes up. It might be maybe the name, or it might be something relevant. So there are all kind of packages in there. If you want, you can click like Geospatial 0.07. What is that? I have no idea. Or it's actually the one that I developed. So it's just happened to be called Geospatial. So you have to remember, even though a good name, you need to take action first because other people might take it. Once it's taken, you cannot. The name is unique, so you need to make sure that you use that. I think I probably took this one like 2 years ago. I don't know, but you can also search, for example, let's say NumPy. Just type NumPy. I'm going to show you how to install it. So NumPy is pretty much probably the most widely used Python packages. built on top of Python, so it doesn't really have any dependency. So this is the one they use for scientific computation. If you are doing Python, most likely you already hear about like NumPy, pandas, or if you're doing geospatial, maybe like GeoPandas, raster.io, something like that. We'll get into those later, but for now, they say, okay, I want to take a look at these packages, see what kind of things you can do, right? And once you search, you will always find this one, pip install NumPy, okay? So this already shows you how you can actually install the package. So it's very simple, pip install NumPy, okay? So if you really want to understand what this is really doing, so pip actually is the program already installed on your computer. So it's basically an exe. That's why the computer can recognize. So if you want, I can come back to my terminal. I just type pip, hit enter. It's going to show you the help documentation. So the reason that you can do that, because it has been recognized by your computer. So if I type like have a typo like pp, it's going to show you that this is not recognized. The reason for that is if you go to, let me show you here under your computer, and then if you go to, for example, users, your name. So for me, I think I install mini Conda here. It depends on where you install. So it might most likely be here. And within the mini Conda 3, you should see the EMVS. So everything, so for example, the environment that we just created, everything actually in here. So do you see the name here? GOS. So that's why like creating a new Conda environment essentially is creating a new directory under here. So if you create a new one, it's in here. And once you're done, you can just simply delete this folder, your environment will be gone. So this is better, like it's not really unlike the Windows or Mac, like install something to your programming file, something like that. It's not, it's just a folder. If you remove it, it's gone. So this is why it's like isolated. So if I get into the GeoOS, you don't have to worry too much right now. I'm just showing you like the inside out, like why you can use those to install packages. So if you see here, there will be one like scripts. Can you find a pip.exe here? Right. And there's a pip.exe. There's also another pip3. In Python 2.7, it's still pip.exe. But in Python 3, you can also use this one. They're the same. So not really any difference. So when we execute the pip command, it actually comes to a computer to find this one. So because it's already there, it can recognize. Otherwise, it won't. So similar to the Conda environment. If you let me see if it's here, it's not here. Anyway, so for Conda, actually, it's inside here, scripts, Conda.exe. So most of the things that we execute, there's a .exe on the computer. For Windows, for Mac, it's different. So, but they're all very similar. And as I said, if you forget, you can just come here. You can just type pip and then enter. You can see the help documentation. But most of the time, if you just install a package, just pip install. So next, let's like try it out. Pip install, and then followed by the name you want to install. So we can just see NumPy here. 1 second, don't enter yet. I'm going to show you. By default, pip install NumPy is going to install the latest version, whatever latest version that you find on here. So if you come back to here, right, this is the package. You will see the latest version is 1.24.1. So most of the Python packages, the version control, the version number usually is, this is called major number, this is called minor, this is called patch. So major usually means like breaking changes. So 1.0, if they change to 2.0, that means there must be something relatively dramatic. So it might not be backward compatible. So that's the reason that just like ArcGIS, right? 10.8, 10.7, 10 something like that. And if they have a minor one, they will 10.8.1, 10.8.2, something like that. So this is called patch, means usually something minor or something breaks, some bugs that fix something, not really many new features, something like that. So we get into this later. For now, for example, for your new version, I'll give you like 0.001. You can actually have 1.00. It's up to you. There's no really a standard, but the patch means it's minor one, and then the patch minor, major. Okay. So if you want to install a specific version, you can go to the release history. So if you click the release history, it's going to show you here. So this actually shows you all the histories. And you might notice, right, 1.23.5, right? There's no like 23.6 because once they accumulate some like patches, it can release a minor version to bump into 1.24 to 2.0 and then increase. But you can all of a sudden you can just change to 2.0. It's up to the maintainer how you decide what you want to change. And as I said, by default, pip install the package name is going to install the latest version. So pay attention. Right now it's 1.2.41, but you can also install a specific version because sometimes the latest one is not supported yet. Just like Python, like ArcGIS Pro, right? It comes with Python 3 point something, but it doesn't always use the latest version because it takes time for people to test it, to make it all compatible. It happens. But for now, let's just install whatever is the latest version. So pip in, here. Pick install NumPy and then just hit enter, and you will see it's just going to go online to find the package and then install it for you. So is it already installed? Right, NumPy. You might see some error message. You can ignore it. 1.24.1, right? And then you can see the file. So actually, this one here, WHL, is called a wheel. A wheel basically is something already compiled. Just think about you download a package .exe from somewhere and then you double click install. Same idea. And the error message sometimes can be very useful, sometimes not, sometimes get ignored. So pip is not very good for package management. So you can think about here, right now we only install one package. But if you have to install 10 packages, and then the 10 packages, sometimes they don't work with each other, right? That's like you're all in the classroom. Some people don't like each other because they're incompatible. Then you need to figure out. So we later introduce how to use Conda, but pip is the most easy one that everyone gets started. It has the largest amount of packages, but it doesn't have the best support. It doesn't have the best compatibility. So you might accidentally break something because you install something that you're not supposed, because those two packages don't work with each other. And so this is, once you have this one, you can actually take a look at, like, for now, I will install this package, but I will know like what are the packages that have been installed in this package, right? For your Windows computer, and go to the start menu, you can scroll, but for Python, there's no interface actually for you to do that. So what you need is pip list. It's going to show you all the packages that have been installed. So take a look at this. It's going to show you the name of the package and also the version. Again, all the commands should be also on the website, so you don't have to worry too much. I'm going to go through each one. So here shows you, like, right now there are not so many packages. The Python version is 3.9, I believe we installed, and there are only a couple of, like, NumPy is the one that we just installed. So pip is actually this package. Other this, just so-called built-in package that comes with when you install Python. So it's already there. Image IO is for dealing with images. We might use it later. So for now, you see, pretty simple, straightforward. We have this, right? And so next, how do we uninstall a package? Right? Can you imagine, like, pip install something? What should we be doing if we want to uninstall something? Pip uninstall, right? It's pretty straightforward, intuitive. So we can try it out, right? If you don't like it, pip uninstall NumPy. Hit enter. And then it's going to ask you whether you want to proceed or not. You can hit Y or you just hit enter. So if there's an uppercase, it means it's the default one. That you don't need to type Y, you just hit enter, it will delete it. If you hit N, it's going to just cancel. And also in Python, sometimes, right now we're doing this manually, but it's better to know, like, how do you automate stuff, right? So think about here, I want to create an environment, I want to install 20 packages, right? You're not going to type a pip install, blah, blah, and then run again. You can write a file and then you can automate all the stuff. Just one command line to install all the stuff. So here, I'm going to show you the same thing. If I'm going to pip uninstall, bless you. I don't want to manually hit enter Y to uninstall. I just want to, like, after I run this command, it just do everything. So what you can do here is you can just dash Y or hyphen Y, whatever. It's basically don't ask for confirmation. Just accept the default one. And take a look, if I hit in this one, I believe it's not going to ask you to confirm like when you install. So if you want, you can do this one. If you don't want to confirm every time, especially when during installing multiple packages. Okay, so now we know how to install a package, right? How to uninstall. Question?
Just before you move on, is there a way to search like what kind of features are included in install packages? Like, can you search functions that are included in it, or do you need to know that from where you download the package?
For the functions, you will need to use an ID. You can certainly this one. I think there are like thousands of functions in there. So every package is different. There's no standard one. But if you want, we can later use let's install NumPy, and then I can show you like in Visual Studio Code, because ID has autocomplete, so you can actually see all the functions attached to this one. But now it's actually not. It's in the command line is not good for auto completion.
Okay.
So and once we install, right, we uninstall. Now let's install again. But this time I want to install a specific version, because by default it's the latest one. It's incompatible for some version packages. So think about here, you're trying to do something, you're going to find a download package, but that package is sometimes specific asking for, oh, you need to install this one. So you need to know like how to install a specific version. And it's actually very simple. So here, if you go to the website and then take a look at this one here, a NumPy, right? We have a bunch of those. Let's say, okay, the latest one not supported, maybe this one is okay. So I want to install this specific version. How can we actually do that? So let me open this one again. Alright, so in here, in your command prompt, you don't need to type every time. You can just on your keyboard press the up arrow. Can you do that? You do it, especially if you're doing like some like long package name, you don't have to type every time. So up arrow or down arrow is going to use your command history. So let's move back to the one like pip install NumPy. And this is where you specify the version, like which version do I need. And always remember, double equal sign, okay? I believe you cannot use one in Python. If you want to figure out whether they're equal, it's double equal. If it's only one equal, it's actually doing the assignment, assign something to something. So in this case, it's not. We are trying to install NumPy that the version number is equal to something. Not like you're trying to assign something. So you have to use double equal sign in this case. And so for the version number, you need to get from here. So 1.3.25, right? 1.23.5. This is where you install a specific package version, right? Pip install, and then you just go there to grab. You should always be able to find this one here, 1.2 point something. So this is where we install a specific version of a package. And next, let's say, okay, assume that this is the latest one when you install, but tomorrow it releases a new version, right? How do I upgrade my current package to the latest version, right? So if you're using ArcGIS, sometimes automatically download one for you. But if you're using desktop, ArcGIS desktop like 10.7, if you want to try 10.8, you have to uninstall and then reinstall. For Python, you don't have to do that. So you can also use just one command to upgrade the version to the latest one. So again, if you forget what the version, what in there, pip this, just to show you the packages, right? 1.27. So now, yes?
When you do that list, is that listing in all of the packages in your environment?
Yes, within your environment.
So what is the utility of the directory right now?
What do you mean the directory?
Like the users QC?
Oh, this one?
Yeah, so like you would like CD into the next folder.
It doesn't matter. This one is tied to this one. It doesn't matter what directory you're in. The reason we want to use the directory, sometimes you want to get something, read something from the directory, but the reason is under the manual because I open the default one, but you are welcome to get into any other directory. So for me here, I can say CD downloads or something. If you type pip list, it's going to be the same. It doesn't matter where the directory is. This one, the pip list is not tied to a directory. It's actually a system program, so you can go anywhere. The reason we want this is sometimes, for example, they say here, I want to, let's say I want to save all these versions into a file txt, right? You can copy paste, but I can also just write a file directly to a directory. So here I can say, I'm not 100% sure. In Linux it's very simple, so it'll be like this, and then to this one I can say package. I'm not sure it works or not. Let me see. Okay, it looks like it's successful. So you see this one, what I'm trying to do is I want to use the pip list to list all the content. I want to save a content to a file so that I can use it later. And you see right now it's under my downloads directory. Let's go to the downloads directory, see if we can find it. Here. Nice, right? I actually didn't have to copy and paste, save the format nicely. So this is why the directory sometimes matter, is when you want to read the file, you want to write the file. But pip doesn't really care where you are, because when you are executing this one, it's going to go to your system directory to find the exe and then execute it. Okay, so this is how you can do that. This will be sometimes useful because you are running something using this specific version. You change to a new computer, something breaks, it doesn't work. It might be the version incompatible. So you can actually, if you want, you can save this one and then take that to the other computer, just do the comparison. But there's also ways for you to actually so-called freeze the environment. Freeze means I'm going to use the exact version number on the other computer so we can install using the same file. We'll show you later, but for now, just keep that in mind. This is allow you to install specific version. So next, let's talk about how you update, right? Assume this is the version right now is the latest, this one, but the developer can release a new version at any time. So now, how do you actually upgrade the package? So go back to the pip install numpy here. Pip install numpy. So what you actually upgrade is actually pretty simple. Okay, can you imagine how to upgrade? Update. Pip update. Yeah, it's actually not as intuitive this time. It's called pip install dash uppercase U. It's like that. It's the same. What does this mean is like upgrade. So you can use one dash uppercase U, or you can use two dashes and then upgrade. So for Python, most of the commands actually, if you want to use the full name, you need to use two dashes. So it can be either like this, not dash upgrade, no uppercase. Either way is fine, but usually it's easier just one dash uppercase, and then it's going to update the package. So see what happens if I do this way. Just hit enter, and I suppose it should successfully go online to download the latest one. So see here. Now we're back to the 1.24.1. So simple and easy, right? You can install a specific version. You can upgrade to a specific version at any time. So it's up to you how you want to do that. And you can also uninstall a package. You can see what the package is in there. So this is the easiest way. And again, you can install a bunch of packages all together without having to type pip install 1, pip install 2. You can just pip install numpy and then space another package name. So in here, I can show you pip install. And you can always use dash U. It doesn't matter. Even if you're trying to install just a brand new package, you can use dash U to force it to get the latest version, because sometimes you might not always get the latest one. So here they say, okay, there's one numpy. Assume that there's another package you're interested in. So they say I want to use pandas. Okay, so this is another package that's very popular for dealing with tabular data, just like dealing with Excel file, CSV. If you click, right, you're able to see here. Is this the right one? Placeholder for not panda 2. It's called pandas. This one here. Yeah, this one looks like 30,000 stars. If you only have a package like only a couple stars, you need to be careful, because it might not be something. It might be fake. This repository is huge. Everyone can push. There are no security check. So there are sometimes some malwares in there. So just like you're installing something like using Android and then download a PKG, you have no idea what's in there. So always use trusted source. If something is like very popular, most likely a lot of people are using, it's less likely to be something illegal in there trying to steal information. So be careful. And this is called pandas, right? And again, pretty simple, pip install pandas. So now let me show you here how to actually install 2 packages, 3 packages, 4, whatever you like. It will be pip install and then numpy space pandas. Okay, just hit enter. Because we already used install numpy earlier, so it's not going to install again, but it's going to download pandas. And all the packages might be building on top of each other. So if I install pandas, pandas depends on a couple other packages, it's going to install all the dependencies. Okay, so this is why I could build on top of the shoulders of other people, because you don't need to go to start from scratch. So here, right now, our pandas, it's going to collect this one, Python date utilize 6, whatever, right? A couple more packages. So we can install all these packages all together. And now if I try again, pip list, you should have a couple more here, right? You should be able to see pandas in here. And this is how you install packages. If you do a quick testing after you install packages, how do I figure out if the package is working properly or not? There's no way for you to test all the functional packages, but at least you can try import, see if the package can be imported or not. So for example, in here, once we install packages, you can use Visual Studio Code to do that, but I can just do a quick here testing. I can just type Python, hit enter, and now you get into this called interpreter. So in here you have see like 3 brackets in here. That means right now we are in the terminal. So that means you can no longer use pip install pip something. Right now you are inside the language. Pip is outside the Python languages. Pip is just a program, it's not a language. So if you try to like pip list, it's not going to work. It's not syntax anymore. Yes?
But yeah, sorry, not sure if you talked about this before. Do some packages need a specific language of Python, like a specific?
Yes, of course. So if you come back to here, let me show you. Each package we're going to specify require Python greater than 3.8. That means 3.7 is not going to support it. So if the Conda, when you create the Conda environment, we specify the Python version. So if I already specify Python 3.7, when you're trying to pip install pandas, it's going to tell you that it cannot find supported version because it doesn't support it. Just like you're trying to install ArcGIS Pro on a Windows XP, it's going to tell you, okay, it's not supported. You need to upgrade the computer. So it's very common. Good question. So next, let me show you here, right? As I said, we are already inside the Python environment, so now it's no longer terminal. So here, if I want to figure out, like, I install numpy, I install pandas, can I figure out whether the package works, or not? What you can do is just import. Let's say import numpy, and then just hit enter. See here, if it works fine, most likely the package at minimal, it probably works. But as I said, there's thousands of functions. You cannot test all the functions, but at least you can see the package can be imported properly. So I can do the same thing. Import pandas. Hit enter. It takes some time, but if you see any error, not good, you have to fix that, right? And if you're trying to, for example, import package that has not been installed, you're not going to find it. So I can say like pip install leaf map. It's going to show you no modules like this. So for Python, there are tons of packages out there. You don't want to load all the packages all at once. You only use that when you need it. Kind of similar to the ArcGIS desktop extension. If you remember, like in the past, you have to go to extension, you click the check mark. The reason you don't want to load all of them is it will slow down your startup time. So you want to at the minimum only use what you need, and then you can enable that. So import basically this could take the stuff into the environment so they can use that. If you don't need it, don't import it because it's going to take some memory and slow down your stuff. Okay, so this is how you install, uninstall, install specific version, figure out what's in there, and then you can install a bunch of packages if you want. So right, pretty simple and easy. And those are the a few command lines that you need to remember. But you can always go online, just do like Google, and then you can find the answers. So you can use ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT, if you already use that, you know, like it's pretty good. But you can, there's another one, because ChatGPT sometimes doesn't allow you to. It's not always available. So I can use a u.com chat. It's not the best, but sometimes it's easier to get the right answer compared to Google. Google you have to search through. So I can say how to install Python packages using pip. Okay, I will show you. Usually this would be, you don't need to like search all the pages. It's going to show you like pretty nice, right? Get all the commands to install packages using pip install, exactly like what I showed you earlier. Pip install double equal sign specific version. Pip install package 1 2 3. Pip install. There's this one I haven't covered yet. Pip install. These are requirements. You can install all the packages all together without having to like click on one, right? Good, right? It's get the right answer you want. So try this one. I kind of like it. ChatGPT is more like they have a limited resources. This one always works. So I think they also provide the they provide references where they get this one from, but this is more like very generic stuff, so everyone already knows. How about this? Let's cover this one. What does that really mean? Like pip install. These are requirements like txt, right? Exactly what we did earlier. We install the packages, we get the environment. But now, assume that you have a list of packages you want to install. How do I get them into the environment? So what you can do, you can go anywhere, right? Or package txt, but for me, the name doesn't matter. You can choose any name you like. So I'm going to create a new one here. Text document requirement. This is just the tradition, a good convention, but you don't have to name like requirements to txt, but it's better like this one. And then, so in here, you can list any packages you like. So I can say, let me see if there are any like minor Python packages for data science, for example. I just want to figure out like what top 10. Let's see what's in there. Some of those might be pretty complicated, so you don't want to install all of them. But for example, SciPy to read scikit-learn. This one for doing deep learning. How about this one, Matplotlib? So Matplotlib is one out there that's very popular doing visualization, doing plotting. So we can basically, I will try to install this one, Matplotlib. And you can, how about also SciPy? They say with the two packages. But just going to show you the idea, you can list 20 packages, it doesn't matter. So for me, I would say Matplotlib and open a txt, right? I will just try Matplotlib. And what's the other one? SciPy. Okay, let's see, Control H. As I said, this as many packages as you like. If you need a specific version, for example, Matplotlib double equal, the same thing what we used earlier, like 1.2 whatever packages version you need. So in here you can also specify double equal to something. You can also greater than something, less than something. It's just like conditions. So you can use whatever version you need. But if you don't specify, you will find the best version, the latest one for you. So Control S. Okay, now we have this. And let's use the terminal again here. Right now we are inside the Python. So if you need to install package, you need to get out. You get out. So how do we get out? How do you get out? Control C. Yeah, I think you can Control C, or you can just exit. Exit. Oops. EXIT, and then parentheses. Now you're out. Okay. So this is how you can exit. If you're already in there, you can come out. And if you can control, not Control L, I think maybe clear. Or CLS, or CLS, okay. In Linux is clear. So now we are clean here, we're up. And again, make sure that you are inside the environment. If there's not Conda activate, get into the environment. So next, that's going to show you like I want to install a bunch of packages, because if you're doing a project, you might be getting, for example, some source code from GitHub, and then on GitHub, usually that package is going to show you what are the dependencies for that specific package. So if you get a requirement.txt, you want to install using this way. So let me show you here. For example, if you go to leafmap, for example, leafmap.org, I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like. So if you go to the GitHub repository, actually you will be able to see the requirement.txt. So later, when you develop package, you're also going to create this file. In this file, it's useful because people know what your package is built on top of. Okay, so you see, right? I fit 18 packages. If you really have to install 18 packages, there's no point like pip install and then blah 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 blah. Usually this is better. You just download the file and then just pip install. There's our requirements.txt. Boom, you get all the packages. So let's do it here. Since we already created this requirements.txt, right? So pip install -r and then just re. Usually you don't need to type the entire file name. Just hit tab on your keyboard. It should auto complete, and then just hit enter. See what happens. See, you're going to install matplotlib, scipy. Boom, right? You might install scipy because scipy built on top of other packages, so you might install a bunch of other packages. So this is essentially how you install packages from a file, from a list of packages within a file. I think I forgot to add this one here, so let me quickly, before I forget. So here, okay, I'm gonna say to install packages from a file, you be pip install -r requirement. Okay. Again, the .txt file, it can be any file name, it doesn't matter, but the convention is to name it as requirement.txt. Okay, so you should see that, right? Only a couple command lines, simple and easy. So this is one way. There are another way of installing packages. We get into that using Conda. So Conda has security control. You have a smaller number of packages, but it's better for version control. So most of the time, moving forward, we'll be using this one to install packages, because this one is going to tell you who can work with whom. This one doesn't. This one, you ask me to install something, I give it to you. You have to figure out if it doesn't work with A star, if it's not compatible, it's not good. But this one usually is easier to install. This one you need to take some time, but in the long run, it's going to save you time because it can figure out the version. If it's not compatible, it will let you know. And everything in here is like the community maintained. So it's not like basically there's a check and balance. When you submit something, you will not get approved before you publish. So sometime later this semester, you will also publish this one here. You want to publish on this first, and then you're going to publish on this first. So you want to basically have your package available on multiple channels. And this one I always recommend because it's security control, and it also has a lot of so-called continuous integration. Like you can make sure that your package, if it fails, you will know. This one is not, you can put any stuff in here. Even if it doesn't work, people going to install it's going to go to working. But this one, if it doesn't work, your package will not be published. It's going to have some minimum check that makes sure that at least you can import the libraries. Pip is just like whatever. People can put whatever things you like from there. I will go on this side now. Questions? Alright, so make sure you practice, install whatever packages you need. Next, let's get into Conda. So, how was, not sure how is there any good analysis. So again, pip is like the largest amount, no security, might be some vulnerability in there. Questions?
I was curious, are there a list of packages that would require having like an exclamation mark before the pip? Because why I asked that is because at some point I was trying to install the Python package Simon in particular. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, so packages, sometimes they have specific requirement. For example, Python 3.7, 3.8, you need to look at the requirement. And one thing you can always do is come here and look at the dependencies. You can also look at their page. So let me show you here. If I click this one, and if you go to, for example, the pip, right, on the pip page, usually you can also see what kind of programming languages they support, like 3.7, 0.8, 0.9, 0.10. We have the 3.11, so right now the latest version. So they have always requirement. You need to figure out. The pip sometimes can tell you, but it might not. So you have to look at the documentation to make sure that you fulfill the requirement of your package. And as I mentioned something earlier, right? On GitHub, there's a lot of so-called continuous integration, basically do the automatic testing. So for me, right, I'm supporting 3.7, 8.9, 10, 11, right? Do I have to install all the environment, right, for all the version and then just testing manually? No, it's going to take you a lot of time. So for software testing, there are a lot of free resources on there that can help you test exactly, make sure that it works properly. So for example here, not just like Python packages, right? Different operating system. How do I make sure that my package works on Linux, Mac, on Windows, or Apple, M1, right? There are so many platforms out there. So we get into those, how to make sure that your function can work also across platform, right? There are things in here that eventually, how do we do that? Also, like publish, how do you publish? Actually, I don't need to do it manually. Once you push to GitHub, make a new release, it will automatically upload to PyPI, and then people will be able to install the latest for them. But for now, I don't want to make things too complicated. We are not there yet. We will know when you are there. So next, let's get into this one, how to install using any Conda. Again, we already download Mini Conda. So Mini Conda is a program. Conda is more like a package management system. So when you install Mini Conda, that's why we have the command prompt. And when you can type like Conda something, this is actually what we're going to do is we're going to go through this one just to do something similar to what we just did for using pip. But going forward, you should use this way to install packages because it's more secure, more compatible. You are less likely to going to run into issues when packages don't work with each other. So again, open the Anaconda prompt, and if you want, you can start scratch. So I'm going to close this one. I'm going to open again. Right, again, by default, this is already a Conda environment, right? So first step, Conda activate GOS and get into an environment, and similar to the pip install. So Conda, we can also use Conda install. I think would be. Let me see. Oh, anyway, let's try this. Just use this one. So first, let me show you how do you install a package. So you can just Conda info just to see some of the metadata for your environment. So take a look at this one here. I just type Conda info. It's going to tell you, for example, what's the Conda version, what's the Python packages that already installed in this environment. But you need to keep in mind, earlier we used pip, now we use Conda. So sometimes they will be mixed. You can install packages from multiple sources, but it's always not recommended. It's to try your best to get all the packages from here. If it is something that not really available here, then you can use pip. But the reason that you want to keep it consistent because this one knows like which one can work with whom. If they're incompatible, it can tell you. But if it is the pip package, they don't really work the same way. And so one important thing is like what Python version you are using. And here shows you some of the stuff, but usually you don't need to worry about it. You can just also type Python and then hit enter. You also see the version, the same thing. But this is similar like pip, not pip list. You can also use Conda list. So Conda list is going to show you the packages, the same like pip list. So here, Conda list. See that here? And if you remember earlier we used pip list, right? Pip list doesn't give you that the Conda list give you a little bit more information. So I can show you the differences here. Pip list. Right? See the difference? So this one here shows you channel. Where does it come from? So later when we install other packages, it's going to show you here come from different channels. So you should try your best to make sure they come from the same channel. And the version number should be pretty much the same thing. So you can see from here. And so next, let's install a package, right? So now how do we actually use Conda to install package? So similar to the PyPI.org, right? You can go there, you can search, you can find out what packages. So for Conda, where do we find packages? Alright, Google, right? I'll just ChatGPT, whatever you like. I can say, okay, how to find packages on Conda or Conda for. So find. It might not give you the answer that you need. This one actually tells you how you can actually search a Python package. So Conda search, and you can find the name. But you can see here Anaconda. Just type Anaconda on Google. You should be able to find the website, and this is a bit confusing. So Anaconda is a company. Conda is a package management like software, and you also have mini Conda, Anaconda, and then Conda, and then Conda Force. They are different terms, so it's rather confusing at first. But you can see this one is Conda, just like App Store. Conda Force is more like a community maintained another like repository. So Conda Force basically is not real, but it's authentic. It's also it's good because not all the packages available on the internet are being adopted by Google because they have a very high standard. So if you want to get a package into here, it's rather difficult. It might take months, years to get in there because they have all the checks. Conda Force is like community maintained. So it's good. It has a larger amount of packages in there, and pip is just like everyone, no security. So you can see this has different level, and as I said, this one is the most secure, but it doesn't have all the packages. So one thing that I mentioned is that you want to keep the same thing from the same channel. So that's why I'm going to show you. I'm going to use the so-called Conda Force. Is that we want to make sure all the packages from here. And sometimes if they doesn't work or if they don't have, then you can try the other two. But so first here, if you want, you can click. I'm not sure why the link is not working. Alright, so you should be able to see. I'm not exactly sure, but I think just type Conda dash force. This will be the one. So most of the time we're going to find packages from here, and then we're just going to install. So this is the website, and later this semester, you're going to publish a package on here, so-called Conda Force. So this is basically community maintained. And what you want is packages in here. And this one is not as good as the PyPI because you can only search the name, and then you can go there to look at the web page to download to install the packages. So you can just simply, for example, I can just type leaf map, okay, the package that I created, right? So if you type the name, it's going to show you here, leaf map, and this is called field stock. So basically, it's like a recipe you use to create a package. This is how it builds the package automatically. So once I find this one, I will see here. Most of the packages, if they are really popular, you will most likely find it both on PyPI and also on Conda Force. So you can safely assume that if you use pip install numpy, I can also use Conda install numpy, something. It's the same thing. If it's not available, it's going to tell you. So in this case, I'm going to look at the leaf map. So if I click, you get in there, you come to here, right? And then if you scroll down, it's going to tell you what's the version of this one, how many downloads or recipes. So if you want, you can just simply click this icon. It will take you to the original page. So this is something similar to the PyPI, right? As I showed you earlier, is it here? Kind of like this, right? So basically the landing page for your program. So you will see here now it redirects to anaconda.org, Conda Force, and then the name. So this is the company, this is the channel. So later once we install the package, it's going to show you it comes from the Conda first channel. And this is the name of the package. And then it's here, right? You see the command? This is where you're going to install. Use the same thing, just like pip install. And then the name of the package. Right now we're here, Conda install. If you need to pay attention here, very important. Let's see Conda first. If just Conda install this map, it's not going to work because my package is not the only official Conda channel, because that one is like very difficult to get into. So if you want to try, I can show you here. Like Conda install leaf map is 100% not going to find it. Unless right now they are very intelligent, they also source the Conda first channel, but Conda install usually will automatically find it from. And I'm going to show you how to install the other way. Right now you see here, right? Okay, it's not working. It's not being found. The reason is that it's not on that channel. So what we did, because it's on the Conda first channel, so you have to put that specifically. So again, Conda install leaf map, and then dash C Conda first. Exactly just like what I show you in here. Conda first, and then you can put the name first or you can put the name last, it doesn't matter, but you have to specify where does that come from. So basically provide actual instruction, tell Conda to look for that channel, because by default you only look for the official Conda channel. It doesn't look for the Conda first channel. So now we're using this one, it should work. And don't press the button yet, don't install yet. I'm going to show you the other way. And now it's going to spinning, right? As I mentioned earlier, pip is pretty quick, right? Pip install, blah, 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 and then install all the packages. But it doesn't double check like if they are going to work with each other or not. This one takes a little bit longer, but it's going to figure out whether you can install it or not, because you can always install packages. If it doesn't work, what's the point? So this one is pretty slow, I can tell you. And then I'm going to show you the other way, how you can make it faster. Because this already takes like more than 10 seconds. Sometimes people don't have the patience. And LeafMap is not that huge. There are other packages that depends on hundreds of packages. So when you install one package, actually install like 200 packages. Because I like the list I show you, like I have 20 packages dependencies, and each of those depends on some other 20, 15, whatever. In total, you want to see like there are like hundreds of packages. So you need to make sure that you understand. I don't have the patience, so I will just kill this one because it just takes way too long. It's not the longest, I can tell you. Like sometimes it takes like 1 hour. It's still like trying to figure out. So Conda used to be very good, very fast a couple years ago, but now it's not, because now there are huge number of packages and package built on top of us. Basically right now you have a huge, when you install something, there are 200 to 300 packages you try to fight with each other. It's difficult to figure out. So there's a new package called Mamba. It's going a whole lot faster. So that's why I'm going to use that one. You want to see the differences. So for now, okay, I'm done. It's just too slow. Control C, just to interrupt. Okay, and you want to end the drop? Yes. Okay. So the first package we're going to install is called Mamba. So Mamba basically a replacement of Conda. So whenever you see like instruction like Conda install something, you can simply replace with Mamba something. So what we want, same thing, Conda install, C Conda first Mamba, and then just hit enter. So this one is not too big, so it should be pretty quick, right? Conda install, C Conda first, and then something. So see here, you should see the screen. So let me pause here a little bit so they can see the command. Alright, Conda install. I'll put that one on the Google site later. Last time when I told it, it's not there yet. Can you all see this one? Type it and then just hit enter. And make sure that you can see all the stuff in here. And this is going to show you like how many packages you want to install and where does it come from. So now you see it actually all come from Conda first. And then once you have this one, then life will be easier. You don't have to wait like for too long. So all you need, just hit enter, install the packages. Then anywhere you use Conda, you can just replace with Mamba. and then it's just fast. It's really fast to install any packages. It can quickly figure out who can work with whom, who can which packages. And so this is basically what you need to do every time. When you create a new environment, and then activate the environment, and then the first step will be Conda install Mamba. And then Mamba install whatever package you need. Okay, see, it's done. Then we can clear the environment. So same thing, right? Earlier, Conda install leaf map, right? Now I can just simply replace this one. Mamba. Hit enter. I hope it's fast. First time might be a little bit slower because it's going to check all the repository. Yes.
What was the clear environment command?
CLS. The first time is basically going to download all the packages so that it knows the entire database. Next time it will be faster because you don't need to retrieve all the time. So it should take some time. Most of the time it should be faster. In some cases it might be slower, even slower than Conda, but has anyone passed this step? So just Mamba install leaf map -c Conda first. Is this still working? I don't know. On Linux it's really fast. Windows sometimes might not be that fast, and if it's really like too slow, just pip install. Okay, that's the last choice you want to see. But usually this one will be recommended, even it takes a little bit longer, because it's going to make sure that all the packages work together in case there will be some issues. Not sure. Hey, just be patient. Sometimes setting up the environment needs some patience, but it's the same step, pretty much the same step. So next time if you need to install another package, or just Mamba install something, and then -c Conda first. Let me put it here, just in case. So Conda, this one, Conda env, Conda create, activate, and then Conda list. I say install Mamba Conda. I hope it's done. Okay. As I said, I'm gonna show you, right? Some of the things you need to upgrade, sometimes to downgrade, because it can figure out. And then look at here, how many packages you need to install. I'm gonna tell you 170. How many packages is going to be changed in order to make sure that what is done. How many to upgrade, how many to downgrade. So this is actually very, very common. It takes time, but it's going to make sure that it's compatible. You can go up and scroll here. All right. 170 packages. That's pretty big, right? But if you go to the package that I showed you earlier, it's not that many, right? Requirement.txt. I think it's only like 18 packages. 18 packages. At the end, they are almost 180, like 10 times. Because each package is built on top of the other one. If you install one, you need to make sure you get all of them, so that the package eventually can work like this way. So once you are here, just hit enter. And also this one is better than pip. Pip doesn't actually ask you for confirmation. If you pip install leaf map, there's no way back. Once you hit enter, it's going to download, it's going to install. This one at least give you a confirmation. If it's something, look at here, if something like really wrong, don't install it. But in this case, just hit enter. It might take some time. It says like 412 megabytes. So if you're on campus, it'll be pretty quick, only take a couple minutes. And setting up the environment takes time, but once you're there, it's like one time. Basically, this is one time installation. You don't need to install all the time. But I create environment, remove environment, install package all the time. So I think I create one environment every day, because I need to do all kind of testing. Sometimes like you need to create multi-environment just to test the stuff. But this is the one that we're also going to showcase in class, so you can install it, you can try it out if you want. But once you install, then you have access to all the packages. Then you can start by writing code and then trying to executing stuff. Okay, so this is how you install a package, and similarly, you can uninstall a package. So this one is similar to pip, like pip install, pip uninstall. So Conda uninstall, and then the package name. This one is not really needed if you are already inside the environment. But if you're in the base environment, then you need to tell the computer that to remove that package from that environment, right? So GOS, but it's not always needed. And also Conda install, right? Earlier we used pip install a specific version, right? Double equal sign. Conda use one equal. Okay, so it's sometimes rather confusing. You need to know like what they're using because they're not using the same one. So Conda install, for example, numpy equal to blah 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 blah. But you need to always like put like basic Conda first, just to make sure that it comes from the Conda first channel. You can certainly make this one the default one. There's some command that you can make the default one, so that next time when you're installing the package, just Conda install the name. You don't have to specify this one. But I usually don't do that because basically set this one as a priority. The official Conda channel for like low priority. Sometimes some packages from here doesn't work. You have to get from the first original, the official channel. In that way, you have to do some additional work to remove the list. So it's a bit complicated. So I will just keep it as default, and then every time you need a package from here, just put -c. So -c means channel, come from here, and then you're good to go. So there are different ways. Depends on how you want to do it. And everything in here after you install Mamba. You just Mamba, remove Mamba, install Mamba, install Mamba, install the same thing. So you can replace Conda just with Mamba. So Mamba is much faster because they optimize that and they use C++ or something, whatever. So it's quite technical, but again, it's simple. You can just treat it as Conda and then use that to install all kind of packages. Let's see if it is done. Questions?
If I want to uninstall the leaf map, will this also uninstall the dependency?
Yes.
package?
Yes.
But if let's assume that if the NumPy is a dependency package of the leaf map, I download the NumPy first, and I download the leaf map. If I install the leaf map, then will
install leaf map. It depends on. So for example, if leaf map depends on NumPy, and the package is that if you already have, and if it works with leaf map, it won't install again. But sometimes it might upgrade. So they say the version that leaf map require a newer version, then it's going to update the existing one that you have. So it's quite complicated, but you will know exactly what package is going to be installed. As I showed you earlier. At the beginning, you're going to show you like what packages need to be upgraded, what packages need to be downgraded. It's actually coming from here. So the red color means something will change. So originally you will see, right? Let's see here, lib mamba, right? The version might be the same, but they might come from different channel. So sometimes they might do some changes, but again, Mamba we handle that all, so you don't really have to worry. In terms of the uninstallation, pip uninstall only uninstall the package itself. It doesn't uninstall the dependency. Mamba we install all the dependencies. Uninstall all the dependencies. So if it uninstall leafmap, it's going to tell you you're going to uninstall all the things that comes with leafmap. So sometimes that can be quite complicated. So usually what I would do is I just don't uninstall packages unless it doesn't work. It's for me easier just create a new environment, install all the packages from scratch. Because sometimes if you use the package environment for too long, those different versions sometimes become quite complicated. So don't try to use the same Conda environment for a whole year or 2 years, because a lot of things are going to change. So after every couple months, just Conda remove the entire package, Conda install again, get refresh, just like get a new computer. It's easier because you get all the latest stuff. Okay, so now you see all the packages have been installed, then we are good to go, right? So here, if you want to test it, like how do I figure out like if leafmap works or not? I can just Python, right? And then just import leaf map. It might take some time because it's going to load some packages. So first time might take a while, but now you see here, leaf map is installed. Good. Then we don't really need to worry too much. So if you really want, I can show you here like how to actually test it. So exit, and because leaf map automatically install Jupyter, I believe Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook. So anyway, it's there. So for you, if you want, I can just type in the command line here, Jupyter space lab. This is going to launch the Jupyter Lab. You can also type Jupyter Notebook, but Jupyter Notebook is going away. It's deprecated, so you want to use this one. So just type Jupyter space lab, and it's going to open the browser. And this is where you can do all the coding. You can have some interactive stuff. We will talk about this later, how you develop packages and then how you can build something on this. But this is where the so-called data science, doing machine learning, deep learning, using like Jupyter Notebook. This is Jupyter Notebook, but it's called Jupyter Lab. But the file we're going to create is the same thing. It's a Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook allows you to create document, source code stuff. So once you open this one, just open. You see here, it's going to create a file called untitled.ipynb. So ipynb is IPython notebook. So Jupyter Notebook comes from IPython, comes from Python. Notebook comes from IPython. Jupyter Lab comes from Jupyter Notebook. So the different iteration, but this is where it is, right? And as I mentioned earlier, we already installed the package. We already installed leaf map. You can do the same testing here. I can import NumPy, I can import pandas. You can do the same thing. So let me show you here. I can just type import leaf map, and then you can either use this here, run this code cell, or you can use Alt Enter, Control Enter, Shift Enter, whatever you like. So Control Enter means going to execute this line, and then you can move your cursor down the next one, and then create a new code block. So each one is called one code block, and for each code block is basically executing the code. So this is better for learning Python compared to use the script, because the script run from the beginning to the end. Sometimes you want to step by step. This would be better, right? So leaf map, right? Import the leaf map. So next, let's create a map. See, just m equal to leaf map dot, and you see here, right? Auto completion. This is what I said earlier, right? If you're using a terminal, it doesn't really have this. In the Jupyter Notebook environment, you have this. So just like just a variable name. We talk about this later, but for now, just assume you already know. So type leaf map dot, and then hit tab in your keyboard. Tab is going to show you all the functions available for this one. So you can scroll down if you don't know, right? There are tons of functions available there. So you can just simply tab. I can also just type the map uppercase like this, and then Alt Enter. So this one is going to tell you leaf map. Okay, create a map. That's it. And then assign the map to available. Now just type m and then execute. See the map, right? Or 2 lines of code. Import the library, create a map, and then like this. And then you can zoom in, you can zoom out. You see. So you're going to create something like this for your package. You can do the same thing. I'm going to show you, right? And once you're here, right, you can click the button. You're going to show you the toolbars, and I can change the base map without clicking the first button. And right, I don't like OpenStreetMap. I can change to satellite. I can change to terrain. I can change to whatever base map, like 100 base maps available. I can change to this one. Right? Simple and easy. So your package will have something like this. Not as complicated as this, but you will view on top of some open source libraries. And then just 1 or 2 lines, you can create a map like this very easily, right? Or you can also customize. Let's say, okay, right now by default, the map is at a global scale. I want to create a map, right? Center at Knoxville. So when people use my package, I want them to create a map just center around here. I can just come here. If you already know Knoxville, that's great. If not, I can just come to the map in here. Zoom to Knoxville, right? And then you can use this, create a measurement. I just want to figure out, I think there's a bug in there. But anyway, you can get the coordinates. This is the bug of the iPad leaflet. So you can roughly, for example, get the latitude and longitude for the location, and then I can just copy, come to here, and then use like center equal to square brackets. Again, we cover the basics later this course. For now, you don't have to worry too much. So this will be the coordinates, latitude, longitude, and you can set the zoom level. I don't know exactly what number, but you can just try it out. And then, this is way too much, maybe 12. So the zoom level is just like when you zoom into the map. By default, it's going to like so. Now you see the map center around like Knoxville. You can change the coordinates if you want, but this is how you create the map, passing the parameters, and then create something. So especially if your package has something like interactive, you want to build on top of this so the user can see the map, can interact. If it's in a command line, like it's just text, so you can do the computation. So we're going to use both of them throughout the semester. So make sure that you practice. But for today, we just go through how you get the meat, get the gradient you need, and then you can start using those to make like dishes, right? Make sense? Packages, there are different ways. Just like today, I'm going to show you how to go to Walmart to buy something, and how to go to Costco to buy something, right? And then, but you should try your best to just use everything from one there because they work with each other very well. So. Costco is more like Conda for us. PIP is more like Walmart, Kroger, like more like low end, I would say. Conda for us is like medium. And if you like really the official Conda channel, that one is really high, but not everyone can get the packages to publish there. So this is like different standard. And yeah, we're almost time. So practice and go online, try to find some other packages that on there. So you want to try it out, just install, give a look. And always keep in mind, not all packages support all platforms. Some packages only work on Windows, some only on Mac, some only on Linux. So if this is not available, then you won't be able to actually install that. PIP sometimes doesn't really tell you what is, but Conda for us, it does tell you what packages, what platform that it supports. So if you go to, for example, this map, it's going to show the icon here, like Apple, Windows, Linux. Non-arch means like it doesn't matter what platform, it's going to support them all. But there too, some packages only support Windows or Linux or Mac. So I can quickly, for example, I can search the other one here. I can say maybe torch text. This is one for doing deep learning with languages. So I'm going to show you here Conda PyTorch here. Right? If this only specific, it's going to show you Linux 64, OS 64. Windows is not there. So don't try to run it on Windows. It's not going to work. Don't try to run it on like Apple M1. So OS X 64 is the traditional Mac computer. So M1 chips are not supported. So this is why some packages are very complicated. It only works for specific platform. But we always try our best to make it available on all platforms. So it doesn't care what platform you are using, it will work. For the package they're going to develop, it's going to be very simple. So it's only the couple lines, so it can work on all platforms without any problem. Anyway, so that's all for today, and make sure you practice. So we won't cover this all the time, but during this course I might install some additional packages so that you know, like now you can go back to the reference to see like what command you need to install. But if you're using it every day, you should be everything in your mind. And from time to time, we might need to delete the Conda environment, restart everything from scratch. Because some packages, if you already install, if you're trying to install other packages, it doesn't work, it doesn't allow you. So in that case, we have to remove everything, install specific packages first, and then install others. At that time, I'll let you know, but for now, just some simple step to install, uninstall, and then see what packages in there. That's it. Now you're welcome to explore the internet, see what packages are interesting. You install, launch Jupyter Notebook, typing, see the result, and it's gonna open a whole new world to you if you want to do some cool stuff. Okay, so that's all for today. I will see you on Thursday for how to use Git. So now we're using local. Next, I'm gonna show you how you can push things to GitHub, and then other people can see it and can install, and how you can collaborate with each other, and also create your personal website on GitHub for free on Thursday, and also maybe next Tuesday. Okay, so that's all for today. See you next week.